Alrighty. So we got a good one. Should be a fun one on the mat here. Gillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick prospect had a fight in the UFC. Looks really good. Coming into her second fight now. Gillian Robertson been in the UFC for a while. We know what she's about. Pretty much just wants to get it to the mat. But yeah, Gillian has a 2-inch height advantage. Miranda has a 2.5-inch reach advantage. So someone must have a poor ape index or a good ape index. So Miranda has an okay ape index, and then Gillian has a terrible one, I guess. So I don't know. I kind of like looking into that. The reaches and the heights of people. It's always interesting to look at. So key characteristics of these two on the feet. Gillian Robinson doesn't really want to be there, but yeah, pretty much she's always looking to shoot. When she's on the feet, she's looking to set up her takedown, her single leg. Her head stays on the center line. On the feet, she's pretty much just a punching bag. For Miranda Maverick, she is coming in at southpaw. She's very aggressive on the feet, as we saw in her last fight. She's got a nice straight elbow at distance, which she could definitely land on Gillian Robinson because, yeah, as we said, she doesn't have any head movement. And she will finish a combo with a leg kick, which is nice as well. For Miranda Maverick, she does telegraph her kicks, either with the ki, like the noise that she makes, or just loading her hips prematurely, just kind of letting her opponent know that she's going to be kicking. And also, yeah, that's something Gillian will be looking out for because Gillian does, try and catch a kick and then drive to finish a takedown. But also, Miranda Maverick, what I noticed is that she can be kind of pressured or just kind of cut the cage off and just kind of outmaneuvered onto the fence. And that's where Gillian will like to get her as well. So, in the grappling is where Gillian really wants it. She'll look for a single leg and then run the pipe from there. She'll catch a kick and take them down. She'll pull guard if she can't get her takedowns going. And generally, her takedowns aren't the best. Like, she doesn't set them up very often. But she is very good at creating like a grappling type of environment in the octagon. For Maverick, she has her own takedowns. She considers herself a grappler as well. She has a nice reactive double and a double on the fence. That's generally what she goes for. And for Gillian Robertson, she's dangerous off her back as well. She'll go for an armbar off bottom. She'll lock her guard and, throw some slashing elbows off bottom, which can cut her opponent. And she's just very aggressive with her jiu-jitsu. She looks to pass guard immediately when on top, and she's very quick to take the back if it gets offered to her. And for Miranda Maverick, what I saw on tape is that her guard was pretty easily passed. I mean, I think Pearl Gonzalez got mount on her at one point. I think I'm remembering that correctly, but yeah, it seems like her guard's easily passed. She lets opponents take her back quite frequently, so that's not something you can do against Gillian Robertson. How these guys win? For Miranda Maverick, she's, fairly strong. She's very aggressive as well. Definitely helps her out in fights. For Robertson, she has good scrambles. She has good chain wrestling, in my opinion. Her first takedown attempt doesn't usually work, but she'll chain it together just to get her opponent to the mat. Or she's got very smooth jiu-jitsu transitions on top, and she's like dangerous on top or bottom. So her jiu-jitsu game it's very good. She's very skilled on the mat. And how these guys lose their fights? For Miranda Maverick, she doesn't seem to have the best takedown defense or clinch game in general, which is something, Robertson can exploit definitely. For Robertson, how she loses, well, when she loses fights, she's generally getting out-grappled or just can't get her opponent to engage in a grappling match. A good example of the latter was... the former, was the Macy Barber fight, where she just couldn't get Macy Barber to engage her in grappling, and she just beat her up pretty much on the feet. And also, if she gets out-grappled, like the Talia Santos fight, that's when she has trouble as well. But also, just the fact that she has 0 stand-up, it's going to work at these kind of levels of the UFC, but you're never going to break through to that next level if you don't develop that stand-up game. And in my opinion, a stand-up doesn't seem to be improving too much, or it doesn't seem to be making noticeable leaps from fight to fight. So yeah, it's It's tough. Past the victory for these two. Alright, for Miranda Maverick, I'd like to try and keep it on the feet, path of least resistance, obviously. No naked kicks, like, set them up or use them at the end of combinations, which I don't know if she's going to do or not, because she does throw a lot of naked kicks, and telegraphs them as well. But also, yeah, that straight elbow at distance, because Jillian doesn't move her head off center line. For Gillian Robertson, a few things I noticed that she could maybe capitalize on is just the single leg in the open, just with the Southpaw versus Orthodox dynamic that they'll have. Also, yeah, just catching a kick and working on a single leg from there. Pressuring her to the fence on the feet and just trying to grab a single from there. But just pretty much, yeah, just try and get it to the mat and get in top position. So how I see this fight going? Yeah, so probably, as you can tell, I'm kind of leaning Jillian here in this fight. I think there's a bit of recency bias, like, caked into this betting line. Because, like, Maverick looked so good in her last fight, and Jillian got dominated in her last fight, where she's best in her grappling. So, yeah, question marks. But I think on the feet, yeah, Maverick obviously takes it just because, well, just by default, because Jillian literally doesn't want any part of a stand-up fight. But yeah, on the mat, I think Jillian's better on top. I think she's also the better wrestler in the scrambles. I think Jillian will be able to grab a single leg pretty much every time. Also, yeah, getting Maverick, I think she'll be able to get Maverick to the ground without too much issue. And also, I just see her dominating on the mat pretty much, just controlling her. Because, yeah, Maverick has given up a lot of dominant positions to a lot lower level jiu-jitsu practitioners than Gillian Robertson. So I see Jillian kind of dominating on the mat, probably getting the submission. I think she eventually takes the back in a scramble and then gets the rear naked choke after she flattens her out, probably. Or just a very dominant decision, like a 30-26, 30-25, whatever. So yeah. Alright, so the prediction is Gillian Robertson. I think she gets it done by submission. Looking at the lines, Maverick's a pretty heavy favourite, which, kind of expecting since, the recency bias and all that. But yeah, I think Jillian should probably be the favourite. I think she's much better on the mat. And I think she will be able to get Maverick down. So anything above $2, in my opinion, is good value on Jillian. That's probably what I'm going to be betting. Just because, yeah, I think also it's, tough to trust Jillian as a favourite just because she is just such a one-trick pony with the grappling. She, like, once that gets nullified or just cancelled out, she has no chance in the fight, really. She's not going to win on the feet against anyone, pretty much. But yeah, so maybe Jillian inside the distance. I'm kind of waiting for that line. It probably won't be that much higher than what her money line is right now. So, just take the money line if you're going to bet it. In my opinion, that's what I'm going to bet. And I think Jillian wins this fight around 55 to 57% of the time. Yeah, so I think she should be a decent favourite instead of the other way around, which it is right now.